Hello, and today we are doing an FPL preview for game week number 16 and a quick little recap of how I got on in game week 15. If you do go to enjoy this video, smash a like on it, get down in the comment section what transfers you've made in this game week 16, and also don't forget it's game week 17 in midweek, so I'll be doing a little quick preview of what my changes will be for that as well. So it's all juicy stuff here, but let's first of all reflect on game week 15. And of course, this was the game week that we qualified for the FPL Cup, which starts this week. So I'll talk about my opponent later, if I can remember to. But no, very decent 50 points. Green Arrow, you love to see it. Ramsdale, look, disappointing against Everton, but he did make more saves, so it's not the end of the world. Trent does what he does, 3 bonus points. It's just beautiful at this point. Cancelo, another frustrating clean sheet wipeout, but for Watford's sake, it was worth it because we did play well in that second half and Cancelo didn't show any attacking threat. Reece James, 0 points, very, very disappointing. The only real surprise of my points this week in terms of where I put the points and who I benched was the Chelsea lads. They let me down, really. Reece James against West Ham, I thought he'd have some attacking contribution, but gets booked and concedes 3. And the same problem for Rudiger, but he got even more because he didn't get booked. So it was not the worst thing, but it's still not ideal. But he's still good, and the Chelsea double up is not one to panic about for sure. It's not ideal, but it is not the end of the world. Livramento, he does it every single time I play him. Every single time I put faith in him, with a good fixture, it doesn't matter because he's going to do nothing. So no clean sheet v Brighton, and it's not just the fact it's no clean sheet, it's the fact that it's no attacking threat and no contribution, but also a clean sheet wipeout in like the 98th minute. Unbelievable. Absolutely fuming. Not even the 6-pointer we usually like from Livramento. But anyway, is what it is. Salah captaincy. Look, this is class. Like, I'm absolutely loving that because he is class. But I maybe should have gone with Bernardo because I genuinely considered it. Trent, obviously, it's hard to always back captaining a defender. But Salah is so consistent and once again pops up with an assist when he needs it, when Liverpool needs it. With Divock Origi, he is such a legend at late minute goals. But yeah, Salah's just so consistent. Obviously still you would want more, but 6 points is decent. Bernardo Silva, the king of the game week for me. What a legend. Now obviously it's against my side, so I didn't like to see it, but you just got to say he's a great player. What a player. 2 goals, 3 bonuses, and he is absolutely in top confidence right now. Jota, not so much because he's been in good form, but against his former team he missed a sitter. 2 players on the line, and he doesn't even put it past them. It's a joke. Really should have been scoring that open goal, but it is what it is. And now, we will talk about this with a preview. He has got himself an injury, so it's a bit of a sticky one. So Maximan, 2-pointer against Burnley. Disappointing stuff. What more can you say, really? And Harry Kane, again, disappointing. This was the fixture I thought about captaining him. I'm glad I didn't, because I genuinely was thinking about it for a long-term strategy. And also, it's Norwich. I don't care what you do. You have to return against Norwich. But no, of course, Sun Heung-min outshines him anyway. And basically, when I gambled to get Kane in that game week, back in like game week 10, I think it was, or game week 8, I brought him in for the West Ham game. Yeah, game week 9. That has just been such an unlucky transfer. Because in hindsight, that does usually tend to work. But it's really not. And Kane is just a waste of money at this point. A waste of space. Get out my team. That was your final chance. And he's not even taken it against Norwich. Bench, Foster, obviously we know he's out for a long time, but I don't worry about that. Ramsdale's the only important playing player. Gallagher, 2-pointer. Look, I had a feeling he'd blank once again. He is playing quite deep, but maybe, I don't know, it's just, Palace are just in a bad run of form and they're not seeming to get many goals now these days. So very, very disappointing, but we knew that that was probably going to happen against Manchester United. Douglas Luiz, 2-pointer. Again, didn't expect many points from him against Leicester. But obviously we knew he was on set pieces and he did get subbed off. But it's a shame that he scored more than James and more than Rudiger. But you couldn't have predicted that. Like, it's just unfortunate. The same thing goes for Gallagher. And the same thing goes in terms of Joshua King. The fact he scored more points than Reece James. I wouldn't have predicted that one against Man City. But no, just because of the fact he played and didn't concede goals as a defender. But he did get booked. So I put him on the right bench order for sure. A very sloppy early booking, but still played well football-wise. Just FPL, it was always going to be an impossible task against Man City. So, yeah, all in all, very decent game week. I'm loving that, to be fair. We're up to a rank of 600,253. So it is a green arrow of about 28k, 28.5k, I'd say. If you're just looking at game week history, you can see it just there. That's how much we've gone up from 628,831. And yeah, pretty happy with that, to be fair. Pretty happy. But going back to game week number 16, and this is, of course, the FPL Cup week. So before I do show you my team for this week, let me show you who I've been drawn against in the overall FPL Cup. Here it is. It is Misha Moore. I don't know if that's a woman. I assume it is. It might be a man, but it's starting in game week 16, and I've basically qualified as in the top 8 million, so it wasn't exactly difficult, but still, the cup, the magic of the cup. Can we get through this first round? Well, we've been dished up an unlucky one. It's so random how you get selected, but basically, it's just I've been drawn against a really good FPL player, I'm not going to lie. So their recent history, their season so far has been pretty solid. They have finished inside the top 30k before, and the top 200k twice. The top 200k twice. Or at least the top 300k. But basically, they've had also finishes outside 2 million. So they're very inconsistent, right? They wildcarded the same week as me, game week 7. They've had a decent season. Obviously, didn't get 100 points first game week like I did. And they've been pretty consistent, to be fair, most weeks. Game week 6 was a shocker for them. And game week 10 as well, not ideal. 40 in game week 13, not great at all. And they scored 1 point more than me last week. So it's very fine margins. So really, I should be beating anyone, right? Because my team's good. And it's good for this week. But also, it's a tough one because of the fact of you think about where Misha is ranked. You know, at 268k, that's quite a jump from where I am at 600k. So she clearly knows, or he clearly knows, whoever it is, what they're doing. And it's very interesting to see that they are an Aston Villa fan and they are in Christmas Island. So obviously, you know, that's cool. That's pretty funky and it's quite appropriate, obviously, in December. So yeah, unfortunately, I can't see what their transfers are for game week 16 because that will happen after the deadline. But they just brought in Dennis, which is for a bit interesting, really, because when you think about my team, I brought in King quite early on and I've been saving him for these matches. And let's see who has the better points. Obviously, it's a tight one between the two. Let's move into my team for game week number 16 then. Ramsdale in goal, no messing about. He's going to get me, hopefully, some save points and hopefully a clean sheet against Southampton, who, you know, have had a bit of a rotation with their strikers like Redmond, like Adam Armstrong. And obviously, you know, Adam Armstrong's not been really on penalty duty. Ward-Prowse has been actually more. So you'd imagine, you know, if Southampton win a penalty, Ward-Prowse will step it up. But I think Ramsdale's that good. He can save penalties. It's just that last week was frustrating. I think this is a better fixture for him to bounce back. And yeah, he's been a really good standout FPL option. I'm just willing to set and forget on the goalkeeper situation. Trent is just Trent at the end of the day. There's no denying his class. He is so good. And if I was going to captain any defender, it would be him. But Villa, they could score in that game. And also, Stevie G's doing well. Trent, I just don't like to captain a defender. But, you know, it's not a bad shout this week for sure. I remember Trent scored that goal last season against Villa. Last minute of the game. He's got so much attacking threat. Cancelo as well. This is a good fixture, but will City keep a clean sheet? They haven't been doing it much recently. Hopefully, it will be in this one because Wolves have been quite inconsistent scoring goals. Yeah, I just think City are so strong right now. Reece James, look, no attacking threat in the last couple of games, but he has been rested in one of them. He's hopefully back fit. Obviously, did play the full game against Zenit, but look, he's still so attacking. Leeds are so leaky. Let's hope that's points there. Rudiger as well. He does like a bit of a shot there. He's quite adventurous, Rudiger, and he's the most nailed. Like, we're talking about December. The rotation is mad in December, so Rudiger's the anchor in my team that keeps me going, and Rudiger actually is someone that my FPL opponent does not own in the cup this week, so that's a differential on them. Bowen, Burnley, as you see there, Bowen is in. That is one of my transfers. So, basically, people, what we're going to say is it's kind of game week 4 vibes. And the reason we say that is game week 4, West Ham played Southampton, a team that Bowen scored his debut goal for West Ham against, right? So it all makes sense. And I brought in Bowen this week. Okay. And also, the fact of Game Week 4 is my other transfers. Ronaldo. There you can see it. We'll talk about him in a second. But he, of course, did the bits in Game Week 4. Back in the Premier League. 2 goals in a good fixture. And I think he could equally do just the same this week. But we've also done a little juicy midfield swap of, as I mentioned, Bowen in. But who have we sold? It's Gallagher, because Gallagher playing CDM, Bowen pretty much up front. I'm just not having Gallagher. He's just not my friend, alright? I'm sorry, Gallagher. Like, I tried to persist with you, but you're not my friend. Whenever I sell you, you score. Whenever I own you, I basically can't win, can I? Because you're just not playing in an attacking position. Palace are a bit iffy, and I know they've got good fixtures, but West Ham have got even better fixtures and better form. So, for me, it was the best route to afford Bowen. I wasn't going to sell Jota. Despite the injury, we only knew that last minute, and I wasn't going to sell Douglas Luiz because he's bench fodder. So, look, it had to be, at the end of the day, Gallagher to go. I wanted one of Bowen or Antonio. Bowen is actually probably better form, and also, like, you don't need both of them, and I like my strike force. So, it's got to be Bowen. Burnley are conceding goals, and Bowen is scoring them. So, hopefully, that's going to be a good transfer. So, yeah, Gallagher out, Bowen in. Salah vice captain. I know you're going to say you got to captain him, but sometimes in FPL, you've got to have a bit of fun, take some risks. It's not much of a risk, right? You'd say that most weeks when you've got a fixture like Norwich for Ronaldo. But, of course, this season, it is a risk every time you go against Salah. I saw it in Game Week 10, right? I'm not going to lie. It was a silly decision in Game Week 10 because we had no real evidence that Kane was banging in the goals, right, ahead of that West Ham game. That was an error of judgment. But what we do know is that Ronaldo can bang in the goals for Manchester United. And I know that when I did not captain him in that game against Man United, Mohamed Salah, and he punished me with a hat-trick, I did take a few weeks to recover from that. But I honestly think the difference between Ronaldo and Salah this week won't be a lot. I'd be surprised if it is. I know Salah could get another hat-trick, but I think Ronaldo is just as good. So, for this week and this week only, I think Salah, he is a good option, but he's just a bit too safe for my liking. Ronaldo could be high risk, high reward. And look, Salah, he's got good fixtures for a long time. We know this. He's amazing. He can score against anyone. But surely Norwich is a better fixture than Aston Villa, because Stevie G's got the Villa playing well. Norwich still do concede goals. They've been improving, but they have still got a leaky defence. So it makes sense, right? You've got to go against the grain sometimes, and there's no doubt Salah's a class player. We're going to miss him at AFCON, but he is my vice-captain for this week, and this week only. Now, Bernardo Silva, Wolves. What a great fixture. Wolves have been conceding. Bernardo's in the form of his life. I know a lot of people will say get 2 City midfielders, but I've already got Cancelo. I don't need to triple up necessarily. And also, Bernardo Silva's the best midfielder of the lot. He gets the most minutes. He's in the best form. And I know that you'll say his stats are basically underlying that not that good, so it's not maybe sustainable, but he's converting and he's confident. So I'm going to just hold with him, and I think he will keep on going well. Jota, that is the issue, right? I had no idea about this injury. Then there's news that he's not pictured in training and that Firmino is. Like, what's the point in that? Because we want Jota for this lovely run of games, in form Jota. Especially, we want him to keep fit ahead of the AFCON, where he'll just be playing every single week. You'd argue, though, with Salah and Mane out, will Liverpool just not be able to score goals? Because they create so much of that through those two players, and Jota puts it into the back of the net. But no, I think Jota's still good in his own right. Look, Villa obviously is a nice fixture in terms of, before Gerrard went there, they were conceding lots of goals. And obviously, Jota's still a great FPL asset. I still think he could play this game, right? It's unlikely, but he could still. So the risk of him playing and then you benching him is just too much. So I'm going to start him, and we've got some substitute, strength and depth to help us out. But hopefully, right, that's just one that I have to, take the hit with, really, because I've already taken a -4 hit, right? That's it, revealed. I've taken the -4 because I had 2 free transfers, and I've done 3 transfers. So I've done 2 of them for free and 1 of them for -4. Joshua King, Villa, obviously for Jota, but against Brentford, you'd hope King does do the bits once again. He's been really good working off the ball, just working hard for Watford, and He's on penalties at the end of the day. I know it's tight between him and Dennis, but I went with King in game week number 11, I think it was, or 12 possibly, when Leicester played Watford. And he got me the goal with a penalty spot. That's his advantage. Dennis, I know, is very good. He got a goal and assist in that Leicester game, but I just don't think his stats are sustainable enough. I think King is that differential option that really could shoot you up the ranks. I'm not saying Dennis is a bad option, of course, but I just think King might be the better one long term. And even if it isn't, right, the fixtures are so good that we can have a few shots at points. And King is just so good. He's got that pedigree, he's got that FPL experience, and good fixtures. Brentford have been defensively quite leaky since the injury of David Raya. And look, King has just been so good leading the line, a classic number 9. So yeah, I like it as an option. And a good fixture for Joshua, who I'd already brought in. But Ronaldo captain, yeah, it's got to be done. Norwich are Norwich at the end of the day. Let's not forget. And Ronaldo is the GOAT. So let's talk about my bench, which is, you know, an interesting one this week, I think, because bad fixtures, but still decent enough players. So Foster, obviously, that's just an exclusion to that rule. He is injured, but we don't care about it. St. Maximan, Leicester away, right? Fair enough. You'd argue that's an easy fixture for most people because Leicester have been conceding goals. Although Newcastle don't score a lot of goals, but they did get their first win last week. I don't want them to do that again because Watford need to keep them down there in the relegation battle. But anyway, St. Maximan's still dangerous, right? He didn't do anything the last two, but he could easily do something in this game with Leicester being so leaky. So that means that actually St. Maximan could be a good option for off the bench if Jota's injured. Now, Douglas Luiz, I know we're going to say it's weird that I've put him second sub, but it's because of the fact he's on set pieces, right? Liverpool, they're not indestructible. They might concede on the odd occasion, and therefore, he's probably higher in the pecking order than Manquillo. So Manquillo is the third transfer I made. Obviously, I sold Kane for Ronaldo, but I'm also selling Livramento for Manquillo. Now, I know what you're going to say. Livramento, you can't sell him. He's the Lord Lundstrom and the Duke Dallas of this season. I agree. I fully agree. But I had to do it because I wanted Bowen so bad. I wanted CR7 so bad. And it was the only way I could afford it. I had to downgrade Livramento to a 4 million defender. And Manquillo is just going to bench warm, basically. He's just going to sit on that bench, get the warm socks, get the water bottle, and just sit there. Because, look, he needs just to work out the value of this team. And he has actually got a bit of attacking threat. There's no denying it. And Newcastle, eventually their fixtures will get better. But it's just a bench warm. So that's my third transfer. It's fully worth it to bring the players in I have. And I'm happy with my team going into this game week number 16. But I'm worried, right? Of course I'm worried about Jota. I'm worried about the -4. Will it pay off? And I'm also worried, can we get through the first round of the cup? But it's really not that important. You know what they say, focus on the league and all that. But it would be nice as an extra bonus. 906 overall points there, as you can see. And now what we're going to do is we're going to quickly look ahead to game week number 17. So the fixtures for game week 16. Brentford, Watford, City, Wolves. Obviously, I've got Arsenal, hopefully, for a clean sheet for Ramsdale. And obviously, some points, hopefully, for the Chelsea defence. And also on Sunday, I've got a juicy match for Jared Bowen against the Burnley. Now, it is an interesting matchup in match day 17 because we've got Ronaldo against Brentford. Should we captain him? I don't even know at this point. We've also got a little bit of Man City Leeds. That's a leaky fixture. I can see it now for Leeds. And I am thinking about Bernardo, but I just think, is it really worth it? Is he going to keep up these goals? Well, if he does an absolute wonder against Wolves, then maybe we'll consider it. But it's probably between Ronaldo and Salah, right? But because of the fact I captain Ronaldo against Norwich, I probably will captain him against Newcastle, Mo Salah, because if I do regret that decision, then I'll at least rectify it by captaining Salah. And like, Newcastle are so leaky. I think there's 3 teams in the league that are good people to captain against. Actually, no, let's say 4, right? I know this is disloyal, but it's true. Our defence is awful. So we're one of those teams that you should probably most weeks should captain against. Then you got Newcastle, then you got Norwich, and then you got Leeds. And yeah, City are just still a team that rotates. But Liverpool against Newcastle, that's always a game with goals. Salah, he's your man really for that game week, I think. So in terms of transfers, obviously I'll have one free transfer going into that, or I could just roll ahead of game week 18, where we've got some interesting fixtures there. Obviously West Ham, we'll definitely want Antonio by then. And Liverpool, I think they're still going to do well against Spurs. Man City could be bringing in another attacker, but by then I don't know if I'll want to do that. So I think we've got to consider maybe rolling the transfer, because there's not a lot of urgent people that need to be brought in for Game Week 17. So I'll probably roll the transfer. If not, then I'll make a very subtle decision and we'll go and talk that through in the Game Week 17 review. But thanks for watching my Game Week 17 and 16 preview. I shall see you next time. Bye bye.